Okay, so let's get started, shall we? What exactly is A/B testing? Well, the name is credited to Google data scientists who were doing tests around the turn of the millennium, and they were trying to determine the optimum number of results to display on their search engine results pages. How many do you show when somebody searches for something? Do you show 10, 20, 100? What's the best number? So they were doing a lot of tests to see which were the fastest, the most interacted with, and which worked best on their servers to reduce load, etc. Whilst this was the origin of the term, similar methods have been used by marketeers and the medical fraternity for a long time. Common uses, they were referred to as bucket tests by some, and essentially they were following the basic scientific method of the laboratory experiment, testing one thing against another to see which comes out better. It's part of human evolution and nature just to improve upon previous ideas, to suck it and see, if you like. And in the case of the web, we can experiment in a similar way, and we've got data to back it up, as long as we've got our analytics set up properly. So why is it called A/B testing? Basically because we're comparing two options, option A and option B. Option A is the control and option B is the treatment or the test case. So in that little example there, you can see option B, the treatment or test, it has a red call to action button rather than blue. Now we have to disprove the null hypothesis, which is scientific jargon, basically to say that you need to show with statistical significance that the test is an improvement over the control. In this case, that the red button works better and gets more clicks than the blue button. So user 1 is given A, the blue button, and user 2 might be given the red button, the treatment, at random. So as we kind of get more people randomly assigned blue or red, and we can find out which one is clicked more. So this is known as also as split testing, because we've got this split in what people are seeing. Some people are seeing blue, some people are seeing red. And it's also called two-sample hypothesis testing, because we've got two different samples and we're trying to disprove the null hypothesis. And we'll look at this idea of statistical significance later on, because it's really quite important. I just want to mention multivariate testing, which is another thing that's commonly done on the web, but it's not A/B testing. It's a lot more complex and it compares more variables at the same time. So people might be given red, green, blue, orange headlines. They might be given different wording, capitalization. They might be given different layouts. But as you can see already, you've got a lot more combinations to test. So this turns out to be, as I said, a lot more complex, but you also need an awful lot more traffic to your site to give it this statistical relevance. So if you've got a massive e-commerce site, for example, you might be able to run this kind of test. But smaller sites, probably best to stick to multiple A/B testing, because you can achieve the same results. But you have to do it one step at a time. So you're just running the single test, the red versus blue, the one wording versus another wording at a time, and judging each one on its own merits. You can run multiple simultaneous A/B tests, although that can get messy. It's better probably just to concentrate on one thing at a time with choosing one variable, color, text, position, size. Okay, so why do we actually do it? Well, as with those Google data scientists, websites are complicated and there's a lot of combinations. There are infinite combinations on any one web page design, really. And although we've got experience to draw upon, we know certain things work from our conclusions. It's better than other things. And there are a lot of conventions, like search goes in the top right, for example. But do we really know that works better? We assume so, but when we're trying to create new things and we're having new ideas, we don't have anything to test against. We're kind of experimenting in the dark. So if we can test one idea against another, it lowers the barrier to entry for the new idea. It makes it easier to try out and test, and we've got data to show how it's gone. So we can minimize the risk of failure due to a simple problem. So imagine you decided to hide your main navigation and put it in a hamburger menu top left. It seems like a bold move, it works well for new responsive website designs, but you might risk failure. People might not be able to find it. So you may serve some people just the navigation button, and you may serve some people the navigation on the page in a traditional way. So what you can do is basically provide data for quick and potentially big wins over what could be a big failure if people can't navigate your site because they can't find the navigation button, for example. Another thing A/B testing is great at is solving debates. So if one mindset thinks that you should have the call to action on this page over on the left, and another mindset thinks no, it should be at the top on the right, and if you can't actually come to a decision, then you can test it out and you can solve this with actual real users and what they click on, and then you've got data to back it up. So it's a great way of solving debates. In the next section, we're going to look at a few examples to demonstrate A/B testing and where it's been used in some big campaigns.